This is part 2 of our retrospective of the Friday the 13th films, and now
we
about
get to
Jason.
This
Goes
is
to
when
Hell.
we actually have a gap, a little gap for a while.
So
I think that 8 was over with.
A little backstory. So between 1989, which the 8th film came out, and between Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday, we have New Line Cinema picking up the rights to the Jason franchise. So Paramount decides to give the rights over to New Line Cinema to take over.
So we get Friday the 13th, Part 9.
Or Jason Goes to Hell, the
Jason
Final
Goes
Friday.
Hell. Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday.
Which
it's a nice film.
Basically, what happens is you have an FBI agent who opens with the movie, who's undercover, and you think it's going to start out like a typical Friday the 13th movie, but what's clever about it is that it's actually a sting operation.
Yeah, it's a sting because they know that he's been killing all these people.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already fucking about 30 fucking years late, 20 years late, of fucking trying to capture this sumbitch. How long did it take you guys to think, maybe we should get a sting operation in there and get Jason?
Yeah, so...
How many people died in this motherfucker's hands?
Yeah, so they set it up, which is cool because I love the
opening. You didn't think it was going to lead to that. I'm like, whoa!
Yeah, which is cool because, okay, this opening scene alone is the best part. You have Jason pretty much trying to kill the girl in the shower. You know, your typical Friday the 13th setup.
Yeah.
Then we get it to where Jason is going in the forest, and you're seeing a fucking SWAT or FBI agents surrounding the area.
Let me get let me say this real quick. This Jason, like I said, I love 7. That is my favorite Jason look. This one is almost tied with that because this is the most gruesome looking Jason we've seen yet.
Oh yeah.
The mask is no longer a mask you wear; it's embedded in his skin.
It's like metal too. It's like
it's metal. Yeah, it's embedded in his skin though.
Yeah,
it's now not over his skin. It's embedded,
and you can see his brains hanging out.
His head is like 10 foot wide. And his mask is like a few inches, like covering just a little bit of his face because his head is so swollen. So this, and Jason's also huge in this.
Yeah, and it's also by Kane Hodder.
Yeah.
So, Jason is about to kill this girl, and then all of a sudden, these FBI guys are shooting the shit out of him and fucking blow his ass up. Yep. So you would think that by doing this, you would be like, okay, that's kind of weird. You killed off Jason in like the first 5 minutes. So they kill him off. Then here's where they kind of switch gears on us.
All right, so basically, I'll tell you about this because I actually seen and this is actually pretty clever too. Trust me, this is clever. So, I believe, wasn't it Friday 13th or wasn't it Nightmare on Elm Street 6? Freddy's Dead came out before?
Same year actually, I think
same
91.
Year. Alright, guess what they did to this, and a lot of people don't know, because they're both from New Line Cinema, right here. So, if you didn't pay attention, the thing that comes out of Jason when he dies at the beginning, go watch 6. That little tail thing looks like the same. It's the same.
It does,
It is the same. It is the fucking same. The ones where they talk to him, Freddy, you will go. That's the same thing that comes out of Jason.
Yeah, the heart
snake.
of Jason. Like the demon.
Yeah, the little snake thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's a heart at first, but then it looks like the snake thing from 6, yeah.
So pretty much you get a setup where the morgue attendant is like hearing, it's like the heart of Jason is like calling him. It's like come here. And so this is okay. When I was little, this scene creeped me the fuck out when I was watching.
It is really gory.
It's really gory.
It's gory.
This dude eats fucking Jason's heart, which is going
yeah, and he's becoming Jason.
Yeah, which
is weird because it kind of reminds me of vampires because you actually see Jason in mirrors and shit. Mm-hmm. When the black guy or whoever's playing Jason, he walks by a mirror throughout the whole film, and you do get to see Jason in the
which
background.
is cool because I can at least.
It's a poor opportunity because that was one of the best Jason looks out of the series.
Okay, I have. Believe me,
I'm 50-50.
I'm split about the movie. Like I do like it, okay. But I thought it could have been better with its concept. Okay, so you have the idea that Jason is possessing people's hearts, or his heart is possessing people.
And he's looking for Voorhees family members.
Which is cool, because I like that. I like that there's more than one Voorhees. Because, we also get a backstory with, he has a sister in the film, which we didn't know about.
Yeah, we get it. We eventually run into he has a sister. A little concept, and my partner here doesn't know much about this. I did a little more research on this. So, upon researching, there's a scene where eventually the guy she's dating becomes Jason.
Yeah.
The cool thing was, and this actually pissed me off a little bit because they actually had a concept. that was actually Elias. It was supposed to be her father, Elias. If you don't know who Elias is, go back to the comic books and read it. Elias is actually Jason's dad. It's Pamela Voorhees' husband. Yeah. There's a thing in the back history where actually Pamela Voorhees gets obsessed with Jason. And she takes Jason, they end up divorcing. Her love for Jason was so scary that Elias couldn't handle it and he divorced her. Upon divorcing, Elias was really close to his daughter. Yep. So he took the daughter. And Pamela took the son, Jason. And this was actually supposed to be a reunion of Elias and the sister. And Jason was actually going to go in Elias midway through the film, and we were supposed to get Jason. So we would have had Jason throughout the whole film.
That would have made it full circle. That would have been really cool if they did that.
They would have done that, but it also would have gave us Jason killing the whole film and actually seeing Jason doing it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the people who own Elias' character, upon allowing other things, the director, the guy who owns Elias' character, refused Elias to be in the film. He wanted a lot of money. New Line Cinema was up to par. They didn't want to pay. They thought it was way too much for the character. He goes, no, we're not going to pay that much. That's ridiculous. So they said no. So that killed a lot of the story. So they had to go back to the project and rewrite it again. And this time they kept the sister because they had the rights to her. But then that was going to be her boyfriend now. And unfortunately, that killed Jason coming through the midway through the film, because now, instead of Jason coming back, he has to just be another guy again. He has to transfer as another guy. So we don't get Jason through the whole film because of the guy who owns Elias.
Which sucks, because I really wanted to see that.
Or Jason would have been halfway in the movie, and he would have came.
Yeah, but what I like about the film, though, is I do like...
So we get the whole story. We get the black guy. We didn't talk about him, the bounty hunter.
Creighton Duke is the bounty hunter who's looking for Jason.
He's very underused, and his continuity also is kind of fucked up because we get a guy who's supposedly been hunting Jason for like years. Where were you in the other previous films?
Right.
I mean, it's not hard to find Jason. Just put yourself in his harm's way and Camp Crystal Lake and boom. Or go and find counselors. He's going to end up killing them.
Well, from what I did hear, though, is that there is actually a longer version of the film where they do explain more of his absence of why he wasn't there throughout the years.
Okay, well, that's cool. But other than that, so we get this whole story. Instead of cabins and people and stuff, Jason's actually taking human form. So you don't see Jason throughout this film. You see him as these guys.
Yeah, which is cool because you can still feel his presence because...
You can say that you like
Jason is still there. It's just that he's possessing people and people are becoming Jason. Yeah. So in a way, it's kind of a...
And I like that. I do like that, but they fucked up by the beginning. They showed me the coolest Jason look ever. You underused it so badly because I would have bought it if you would have gave me the look from Part 8 because that 8 look was horrible. I would not want to see that Jason. You could have done that in 8. I hated the look of Jason in Part 8. So I would have been happy that you didn't show me that look again. Now, Part 9, you gave me one of the best Jason looks, and I'm gonna miss the most coolest Jason look throughout the film.
Yeah, but for what they did though is that I do like the fact that the characters we do have in the film, like the Steven guy.
Yeah, I do like they actually bring history of the family.
Well, that, but I also like the main guy, Steven. I thought he was really good. He was funny at times. Mm-hmm. And especially that part where he's in jail and he's negotiating with the bounty hunter. He's like, he's breaking his fingers. And he goes to the guard, like, guard, he broke my fingers.
Yeah, that dude is pretty quirky and funny. And this is like, finally we get a Jason film that actually looks 90s now.
Yeah, it does.
8 did alright with the whole 80s look, but now 9 did smart by saying, hey, welcome to the 90s.
Yeah.
Because it did have that Ninja Turtle Part 1 look to the characters, so we get that 90s introducing. So anyway, so at this film, they have to try to stop the possession. And, they're really not catching on to what they got to do with the killer. So, I'm going to say, this movie does have some pretty cool gore. My favorite part is actually the restaurant slaughter, where he goes up to the fat dude, breaks his arms, his bones.
I remember that shit, yeah.
Then he punches that girl's mouth in, and her shit's all bashed in. Then he puts the guy in the fryer and cooks them.
Yeah.
I do love that, and he squeezes that waitress's brains and her...
Yeah. I do love that part. It was really fucking gruesome. But
also, we get to the end, towards the end, and like I said, Duke is very underused in this one. We actually get a respectable reappearance of Part 6 where he breaks the dude's back.
Yeah,
like he did
where Jason actually crushes the fuck.
Alright, so this cop is actually, you get like this human-on-human argument. Somebody ends up killing Jason's sister. Well, we come to find out that Jason can be resurrected as his look and get him back fully as Jason if he goes into a Voorhees.
Yeah.
And they found, like, well, there is a Voorhees in the cellar. Who? There is? Oh, shit. That means he's coming back, and then Jason explodes out of the fuck thing. He went inside his sister, now he could become the look. Now we get Jason's look again. Unfortunately, we had to wait till the fucking end for that.
Yeah, but it was still cool, though, because when he actually kills Creighton Duke, I was just like, fuck, he's squishing the hell out of him.
He's cool looking. I didn't care about how he could be so gruesome to him, but yet all he's doing with the main guy is just throwing him around.
Yeah,
that was kind of boring. Because that was a boring fight because he's just throwing him around. That's all he's doing is throwing him. I'm like, dude, maybe he was throwing him. Well, man. That's all you're fucking doing.
Maybe you could argue that maybe he was fucking with him before.
There's an unrated cut that you probably haven't seen. I have. There's a director's cut. I thought this was a lot better. This actually should have been theoretical version, and this would have been cool in 3D. This would have been an awesome 3D shot if they did this movie in 3D. Where the guy he threw Jason... Remember when Jason throws him in that fucking kind of like jungle gym thing? Mm-hmm. And the dude's like trying to climb through and stuff? They actually leave this out in the theoretical and they bring it up with a director's cut where Jason's like... And then like the fists come at the screen.
Oh shit.
And he's like... Doing that, but they cut it out because they didn't shoot the movie in 3D. But if they would have done that movie in 3D, that would have been cool, seeing Jason's fist coming out of the screen like that, reaching at you.
Yeah.
They did that, but they go, well, since this movie wasn't in 3D, let's just go ahead and cut it out.
Oh, man, that could have been cool.
That was cool. I actually seen that. I found it on YouTube, and I was like, if you would have shot that in 3D, that would have been a cool scene right there. But other than that fight, I didn't care for him throwing around Jason, or that dude around. Jason was just throwing around like a rag doll and all that stuff. Well, anyways... Before he gets ready to kill this dude, he gets ready to kill, but the girl comes, and she kind of reminds me, she kind of looks like her, and she kind of like dresses like the girl from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. She kind of reminded me of that girl, and the girl ends up kicking this sword. It's pretty much the same sword from Evil Dead, where it goes through Jason's chest. That one he stabbed the girl in Part 2.
Yeah.
The one with the hand did. And that's where the arms start coming out.
And speaking of trivia notes, it was cool that this film actually tied in something with Evil Dead, because there's a part where Steven is going into this house, and he sees the book of the Evil Dead.
Yes, so there's reference. This movie actually does do a lot of Evil Dead references, because not only do they do the book, the thing that Jason stabbed is the same thing that was stabbed in the girl in Part 2 of Evil Dead.
So, and plus both are made by New Line.
That's the thing that stops. That's the thing that stops Jason, is the Evil Dead knife that's supposedly was supposed to stop Evil Dead in Part 2.
Yeah.
So, that was clever. They do that, and I do love that.
And then
here's a trivia note on this. You remember when the arms were coming out?
Yeah.
That same footage I seen where they did where I said where Jason's doing, they actually had a different scene where instead of the arms came out, demons crawled out of the fucking ground and grabbed Jason, and it was all demons.
Holy shit.
Them, and they go, "You're coming to hell."
Oh shit.
And then they bring him down, but they fucking cut that out and just did the arms.
Damn.
I would have loved that.
That would be awesome.
I'll show you it when we're done. And they actually, demons come out of the ground like, and they actually have horns and everything, and they just bring them down.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Well, that would have been really cool to see.
And there was actually not only that, but you know what was also cool? You know what they had reference? They were going to reference?
What?
Until they decided to go ahead and do the famous ending with the glove. They're actually going to come out. The demons were originally supposed to come out and do this. Freddy wants you. And then take him down.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But instead, we get a really clever
part. I actually would have liked... I liked the glove more than the whole, like, where they came out and said, Freddy wants you. Yeah,
but
Freddy Krueger.
We get an ending where the glove comes out, and it's obviously Freddy Krueger's hand, which is actually Kane Hodder's hand.
Yeah.
Which
but
is cool.
it was Freddy, and you hear Robert Englund, ah!
Yeah.
Yeah, doing his famous thing.
Which a little backstory. 7, when it came out, it was actually supposed to be a crossover with Freddy Krueger, but because they were having a lot of script problems, they couldn't do it in time.
That's why they did the Carrie thing.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm gonna give it a benefit of doubt, and this is the best I can do. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
I'm going to give it probably a 6 out of 10. I liked it a little more than you did because there were some things I do liked about it more.
Yeah.
Like, unlike you, I could have seen more Jason, but I still liked the presence they had where the whole heart thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I'm a 5 out of 10. You know, it was not so good for me. I wish they could have done a lot more. And I would have bought more of the last thing. If they would have went with that, it probably would have scored a lot more points.
True.
That would have helped score a lot more points, but it didn't go that way. And they really cut out some really good shit that I seen that they are going to release later on. I'll show you later. They probably would have scored points, but they cut it out. So I'm going to go based off of theoretical what I've seen. It's a 5 out of 10.
Fair enough. Well, now we get to one of the most movies.
So we're going to do a retrospective of Freddy Krueger later on. But the reason why we're going to add this to this list because unlike the Nightmare on Elm Street, this actually leads into this film.
Yeah. So now, before we get to that, we have to do in order by the release date. We now get to Jason X.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Jason X.
Jason X, which now takes place in the future.
Yeah.
So now we get it to where Jason is being incarcerated. It's 2008. Where
now this film is actually it's incarcerated, but this actually brings Jason into theaters. This movie actually went to a theoretical release. I remember seeing the poster growing up. I went to theaters and I'd see it was the famous where he got the Jason mask, and then he had the metal mask, and he had the knife going in the middle.
Yeah, I love that poster.
And he has space in the background.
Yeah.
So we get Jason X here, and this actually has no continuity with the story whatsoever, other than just a basic story that Jason was a killer. This takes us way in the fucking future.
But here is the thing. This is going to be kind of a split kind of review.
And they did say something in the beginning of Jason X where the lake actually, did some things to him. The lake had some kind of algae that made him... that's what they went with.
I can't remember.
I didn't care for that.
But anyway, this one, I can actually say that... here's what they do. So, Jason is taking control... The government now has control of him where he's incarcerated, and they're doing, a lot of tests on him and shit. So, which is fair enough, because, I'm like, alright, you finally got Jason, and he's now under control of the government. So now we have it to where Jason is breaking out, of course, and he's frozen for for over.
Well, what he does is
he breaks out.
Didn't he take the girl with him too?
Yeah, the girl.
So this is
crazy.
actually the beginning is actually in modern times, but then after he breaks out and he kills everybody, and the girl does something to Jason and it ends up happening to her because Jason stabbed her through the metal thing.
Yeah,
it froze them both, and they both wake up way in the future. The girl ends up waking up.
It's 2139 or something like that.
It was
so I can't remember the date.
It was 50, 60 years from what happened at the beginning of part 10. Yeah.
So anyway, they both get incarcerated. They're both frozen, cryogenically frozen, and now a team of scientists go down to pick up some specimens and stuff like that, and they discover that Jason Voorhees is there. Now, unlike you, because keep in mind, this is going to be one of those kind of discussions where me and him are kind of arguing. We're kind of disagreeing on some things. I can actually buy they can do this. Okay. They pick up Jason where he's already been there for a while and they take him to space. I can actually buy that because, for one, he's been there for hundreds of years now. It's obvious that they would probably want to do some tests on him and try to do some things.
Well, they find him and her because the girl was also frozen.
Because she just...
what they did was they successfully unfrozen the girl. The girl's alive, perfect, in good condition. Well, the girl is arguing to not do that to the guy, Jason.
Yeah,
don't unfreeze his ass and all that stuff.
He'll fucking murder you.
I forgot why they did it.
The reason why was because they were doing research. I think they were. if I remember correctly, I can't remember. I think
the girl woke up, but I think Jason might have already been frozen.
He was still frozen.
He's still frozen, and she's like, "Where's he at?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, because it's 100 years later. They don't even know.
They don't even know the history.
The history of Jason. But what I do find a little controversial or continuity problem with this is that there's a guy later on in the film that says that he knows the history of Jason Voorhees, which is a wasted concept because they could have brought this character more involved
in the beginning, where he already knew, and you never would have unfrozen Jason. Yeah,
but. Anyway, so we get her pretty much trying to warn them do not unfreeze Jason. As it goes, Jason breaks out, and we get Jason in space.
Yep.
And I can be honest, man, this movie was really fun. Like, you have a lot of kills that Jason does.
I did like how he froze a girl's head in back.
Where he takes that girl's head and puts her in that nitrogen, and then fucking smashes her head on the counter.
Yeah.
I love that. But also, I think what was really clever is there's the part where this guy and the kid are like playing this video game, and Jason's in this video game and he slashes this fucking demon, and then all of a sudden he's like, hey, what the hell is that? And then they wake up, and then they're in reality, and they're like, what the hell? And then Jason's still there after he comes out of the video game.
They're like, alright, you get throughout the kills, then they blow up Jason in the middle of the movie, and you think it's over with.
Yeah, but much like the trailer show, because I remember when this movie first came out, and I had the trailer watch in theaters, and man, you talk about a fucking badass upgrade.
He was an upgrade. I do love the upgrade, and, like, I'll get to it in a second, but yeah, he gets his upgrade, he ends up, he kills and stuff, and they actually do a clever scene where they actually make him daydream, where he's in Crystal Lake again, and then he's doing the famous slam the bag on the...
Like in 7.
Boom, boom, and all stuff. But, and then, they end up defeating him, and then the mask goes in the lake, and it goes, and it lands into... Which bothered me because Earth died.
I think it did. The first.
So you're telling me there's
Earth 2.
Earth 2 is where they're heading to. So you're telling me Earth 2 had Camp Crystal Lake?
You could argue that's probably a different forest, perhaps.
I don't know. You could say that it's Camp Crystal Lake. You could say that, okay, that's going to be his new lake he's going to take over.
Perhaps,
you could say. But this movie, I'm going to have to judge it merely on its fucking popcorn fun, because this movie as a Jason continuity is not continuity. It's a really bad film continuity wise, but I can give it its popcorn fun, but I still didn't really care for this film very much. I did like some of the popcorn parts, but I'm more of a story and continuity and verbatim. I guess you could defend that 7 killed it, and 8 killed it, and 9 killed it. You might as well just say 10. You could just say, fuck it. Why would you just judge 10? Because you gotta think 7, 8, 9 did kill the continuity already. I guess I could defend that part. But it was fun popcorn. Like, it's a 2-grade system for me. Basically, continuity, this movie would be really fucking bad. Now, popcorn, I can give it some points up. Because I did enjoy the popcorn. But, to me, I thought, I could believe Leprechaun in space. I love that one.
Yeah.
Critters in space, they're from space.
Hellraiser, Bloodline.
Hellraiser, I can doable, and I love Bloodline. I just couldn't see Jason in space. I really just had a hard time seeing him.
See, that's where me and you differ, man, because even as a Friday the 13th film, I can buy that Jason would be doing this shit in space. Because, for one, when he's killing these counselors and the continuity they do give
they're not counselors.
I'm sorry, not the counselors.
This is like Star Trek. Yeah.
The scientists that he's killing, I can still go with it. And yeah, I agree.
Could you imagine what their original story they were going to do? I would have bought this a lot better than Jason X. They actually wanted to do they were actually going to do this, and I would love this. This would actually do a lot better. They were actually going to have where Jason breaks out at a military base, and they had to send a special forces team after him.
Oh, really?
And he's hidden in this fucking bunker of his military base. space.
I could have bought that.
And then at the end, they're going to have Jason, where you hear, where he's walking to Camp Crystal Lake.
That would have been cool.
That would, I would love that better than Space, because Space is more of a popcorn flick, but I would have loved, continuity-wise, I would love that it brought military in this, and then he breaks out of the military. I would have loved that one, because it's continuity better.
Yeah, but I still like what they did with the space setting with it, because for one, it's cool that he does unique kills in it, but also, you know, the characters didn't annoy me as much as some of the other ones did. They were just kind of there, but I thought some of them were alright.
I don't know, man. Some of them annoyed me. I didn't really care for a lot of people in this film and characters. Alright, I'm going to judge it 2 different ratings. Continuity, to me, it's a 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10. Popcorn, I'll be nice and give it 5 out of 10. Popcorn. As in, you could see it as a standalone. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. See, when you do franchises, if there's a popcorn nudity in this, you want to give it 2 grades. I'm a 5 out of 10 in the popcorn. I'm a 2 out of 10 in continuity storyline.
I'm going to give it probably a 6.5 out of 10. It's got flaws, don't get me wrong. There's things I don't like about it as well, like some of the stuff they do.
What's your cons? You didn't really discuss the cons.
Okay, for example,
you praised a lot, so...
Okay, I didn't like a lot of what they did with the characters because there are deaths that they don't really do too much with, like the guy who's piloting the ship and he crashes it. You don't see him get fucking killed. And another character,
that black dude that took him to Earth.
Yeah, a lot of the death scenes are off screen, but for the ones that I did see were good. And also, I thought that it could have been a cool. They did very underuse Uber Jason when he's upgraded because he only gets probably 2 kills that are all in a simulation.
Yeah, and one of them was a robot.
Yeah, but she didn't really die. She was still alive.
Yeah, she was alive, but yeah.
But they did underuse a lot of Uber Jason, so they did waste that concept a lot more. Mm-hmm. But I still overall liked it.
Was it weird seeing him go from 9, where he's like this big bubble head, and he looked kind of humanish at his first look, even though he was still a monster? He kind of went like his bubble head, and his bigness was a little shorter. Like his head. No, his look was different, a whole different from 9.
No, not really.
Yeah, it was. The mask was embedded in part 9. In 10, he has it's not even a Jason mask, it's like a metal mask. No, it's like a steel, like it's welded.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It was totally different. Like he looked kind of littler at the beginning compared to what he did because I don't think Kane Hodder came back in this one.
Yeah, he did. He was in Jason X.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was.
That was the last one he played. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
Actually, they had him for Freddy vs. Jason. He turned it down.
But overall, I would say I give it a 6. I do like the film. I do. I respect your opinion.
What's your continuity issue?
My continuity.
Would you give it like me? I gave it 2 grades. I was nice enough to give it 5 out of 10 as a popcorn flick, and then I gave it only a 2, 3 out of 10 for its continuity. I'm gonna say more like a 2 out of 10.
I would still probably give it a 5 out of 10 because I thought that for at least what they did with the continuity was still well. Because if we're to assume that this takes place after Freddy vs. Jason, I can buy it. I can buy the continuity that they do.
But they don't, because little do you know, there's a total different look for him in that one.
From Freddy vs. Jason?
Yeah, because that one he actually gets to live on Earth forever, and
but we're supposed to.
It kills the concept of in fact, they actually say Freddy vs. Jason. They actually ignore.
No, because I thought that in Jason X that same look they have in the beginning was the same look they had in Freddy vs. Jason.
No, because the guy who played him in Freddy vs. Jason was fat, and you could tell Jason's almost 80 in that one.
No, I'm saying the mask, the actual.
No, because the mask, the outfit and mask. In 10, Jason is more buffier. His mask looked like they did a different thing where his mask wasn't really the hockey mask anymore. It was more like a welded mask. It was like metal, like a steel, like iron. So it was really kind of.
Well, even still, I guess that didn't bother me too much because I didn't notice it. Yeah. But anyway. I do like it as a fun movie. It's not as good as the other ones I liked, but it's still fun. Yeah. So now we get to Freddy versus Jason. Which
now, here we're going to do this. So people, you go and ask us, we're going to get questioned about this. Why are we not doing Freddy vs. Jason on Freddy? Well, here's our concept. We kind of judge this based off of what we've seen. So, you had New Nightmares in Part 6, Freddy's Dead, New Nightmare, and back in the Nightmare on Elm Streets. They don't reference anything with Jason in that film. Well, they do in Part 9. So, we thought it was probably solely better if we do. There's more continuity with the storyline if we do Freddy vs. Jason in the Jason retrospective.
And also, because this one is going to be, even though... Okay, just to be fair, though, we will bring this up in our retrospective of the Nightmare on Elm Street films, but we're not going to go into too much detail. We're going to be more explicitly talking about it in this review than we will in the other one. Yeah. Okay. So we have Freddy vs. Jason, which went through...
long anticipated. So we get 1993 was when we got the Final Friday. This movie actually took 10 years to make.
It was, I think it was 1991 was Freddy vs. Dead. No, it was actually in development in 1987 or 88 when or 87 when Part 7 came out.
Well, they wanted to do it since 87, but based off of 1993's.
Or 1991's Freddy's Dead.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying Freddy's Dead. I'm talking about where
Jason Goes to Hell.
Goes
to Hell, I think, was 91 too.
I thought it was 93.
No, it was 91. I think it was. Okay, I have to look it up the year, but I think it was 91. Yeah. But anyway, so the movie had a long development hell process for it, but it had a lot of scripts that went through a lot of changes, and
this movie didn't know what they were going to do. I can agree with it. This movie, I can see it being a very hard film of what you want to go with it.
Yeah. So anyway, we basically get the setup where it takes place in Crystal Lake, or actually in the beginning it shows that Freddy has been in hell since. I don't know. Are they going by the continuity of New Nightmare or Freddy's Dead? Because I couldn't tell if they were going by which movie.
That one, they're saying pretty much Jason's in hell. I guess you could say it was after New Nightmare. Because Jason,
perhaps, or Freddy.
Well, yeah, you could say that because it basically in New Nightmare they do send him to hell.
Well, he's been in hell for a long time.
Well,
I'm sorry, he's in dream world, but he's going to hell. Yeah. Okay. So
told you.
Okay, 93. So sorry, correct me if Jason Goes to Hell came out in 93,
which is 10 years. 2003.
2003. Okay.
Yeah, so it took 10 years to make this film.
Okay. So now we get it to where Freddy sets it up where Jason is still once again killing counselors at Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake, and then Jason was defeated. Really, basically, this is how it goes. It opens up with Freddy, and Freddy is pretty much been defeated. He can't come back. He can't earn his spot for where he was at in the previous films. So he knows somebody who slashed many people, and he could bring fear to the people. So he thought, I know somebody. I searched for the bones of hell. I know somebody that's going to make them remember. He brings Jason. Mm-hmm. So he resurrects Jason by his powers. The only powers he has left, he was able to resurrect Jason. I guess you could say it's cool, but why did Freddy not think about that a long time ago? Continuity issue, I guess you could say. But this movie was just trying to be fun more than continuity.
Yeah.
As best as it could. So he resurrects, that's when Jason comes back, and Freddy is pretty much in his mind and telling him to go to Elm Street. Make him believe, and again, that's where you get the opening.
Yeah, where it's a pretty cool opening too, where you have Jason killing off the counselors.
Actually, you know who did the soundtrack? Spine Shake.
Yeah, it's like I want to never be. I want to be. Yeah. I never want to be. Yeah, I love that.
I'll show you that soundtrack, dude. It's actually Spine Shank. I actually went and bought the soundtrack after I watched, because I went and seen this movie on opening night with my dad.
I remember you telling me that. Did you say it was like really fucking packed?
Oh god, it was so packed. Me and my dad, we couldn't even fucking sit next to each other, man. He had to go all the way to the top. I had to actually sit at the very front row.
Damn.
Yeah, where I was looking up and shit. Yeah, man. It was so packed. Me and my dad actually ended up getting the last 2 tickets available.
Which sucks because I wanted to see the film in theater, but I didn't get a chance.
Oh, I did. It was fucking crowded. Oh god, it was fucking crowded. We went on Friday at 9 o'clock.
Damn.
It was opening night. It was like everybody was there.
Well, anyway.
And it was at Malco.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. Yeah. But anyway, we basically have the setup where Jason is now going to Elm Street, or in Springwood, sorry. And
he's going on Elm Street.
And he's going on Springwood where he's killing these guys. And I can tell you right now, these are some of the best deaths I've seen that Jason fucking does since in a long time.
He stabbed that dude through the heart, and the heart came
he crushes that dude.
And then after he stabbed through the heart, he bends the dude backwards
with the fucking bed where he just he bends it in half.
Yes.
You know,
and it was pretty cool. I love that death scene, and we find out that's in the original 1428 Elm Street. That's the house Nancy lived in.
Yeah, which is cool. I like
the cop goes, "Oh my god, it's in the fucking same house. It's got to be him, Freddy Krueger."
Yeah.
And so you get and then the cop's like, "Shut up. We don't need to say that son of a bitch's name."
Yeah.
So now we're now to believe that now the cops and the government believes the teenagers that Freddy is killing in the afterlife.
Yeah, which is cool because I like that they bring up the continuity of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Mm-hmm. So now we get introduced to another characters, which honestly the characters I thought weren't too bad. I like the main guy, Will, and his friend.
Which is, what's his face's son?
John Ritter's son.
Jason Ritter. Yeah, Jason Ritter.
Which is funny because our friend Ray kind of looks like Jason Ritter.
He does. He does look like him, yeah. He does look like him, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we get...
And what's cool, because they also bring another continuity with the Freddy movies. They bring Weston Hills from Part 3.
Yeah!
The hospital.
The same hospital from 3.
Yeah, and they're locked. And the remaining kids that remember Freddy killing... They're under some hypnosis that pill they actually bring up in Part 3.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That pill, it's called Hypnosil. It's in Part 3. It's referenced in... Because there's a part where Nancy and the doctor from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is like... The guy who's helping Nancy defeat Freddy in Part 3 goes... He looks at the doctor, he goes... I'm sorry, nurse. I'm going to have to go against your orders. I'm going to give him Hypnosil. Well, they said, no, Hypnosil's banned. They haven't. Freddy versus... Hypnosil.
There you go.
Yep.
And they all so we got those characters, and then we also have the main girl in the movie.
You know what they was supposed to do, and they didn't do it, and I thought this was a bad choice to turn down. You know that the doctor that gives those Hypnosil pills? That's the daughter's husband, the girl's husband, or the girl's father. You remember the father?
Yeah.
The dickhead father?
Yeah, I remember.
That was actually supposed to be the dude from Part 3, Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Holy shit, really?
That would have been a good...
That would have been a good tie-in.
That would be a tie-in because the guy wants to give this guy people Hypnosil.
Yeah.
They didn't do that because they couldn't get the fucking rights to it.
Man, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we get introduced to those characters along with this other character, which I swear when I first seen her, I was like, is that Brittany Murphy? Because the girl that's in the main girl, it looks kind of like her.
Yeah, she was somebody that looked like her. Didn't really go far in movies.
Yeah. But anyway, they got introduced to her, and then we also get the whole idea that Freddy wants to use... So we get Freddy wanting to use Jason to spread fear, which is cool, but I only have one issue with this, is that Jason, even though he does some brutal-ass fucking kills in this movie... Freddy only gets one fucking kill.
Yeah,
in the whole
Freddy gets
movie.
one kill. And we are wondering how we're going to lead to a Freddy. I do like how they did the Freddy's world, where Freddy and Jason fight, and then they do the final fight where it's in Jason's world.
Yeah.
I do love that. I enjoyed that. I love their fights. And I did love Robert Englund coming back. Unfortunately, Kane Hodder, he turned down the role.
Which I can understand, because, to be fair,
Kane Hodder it was supposed to be a Kane Hodder verse... it was supposed to be a big thing about Kane Hodder and Robert Englund because they're the two iconic guys.
Yeah.
The thing, Kane Hodder, I couldn't remember why he turned it down.
Probably because Kane Hodder is a tall dude. They wanted to match the actor's size with Freddy because he's a lot smaller.
Well, that still ain't because Kane Hodder was the guy who turned it down, not the director.
I know, but.
Kane Hodder
sure?
Because... No, Kane Hodder turned it down. They're saying that Kane Hodder wanted too much money. He wanted a lot of money.
But I heard that the reason why they...
No, because the guy is still a foot taller that plays Jason. It's still... I will show you that's not the continuity issue.
But I just remember...
There's a scene where Jason... I don't know if you remember this. I grew up more this time. I still remember this. because I'm a lot older than he is. They actually did a promotion, and they did like weigh in at 500 pounds, and they did an actually WWF thing. Promotion,
yeah, I remember that.
Where Jason and Freddy, Robert Englund dressed up for Freddy, and the guy who played Jason in this film dressed up like Jason, and they did like a WWF. All bets are off. You know, they did the WWF thing in promotion, like UFC. Like, all right, get ready. It's coming in theaters. And then that's when they cut it. And who will win? And the dude is actually 2 feet taller than fucking Freddy. So that's already not an issue.
But I just heard that from the reason why they didn't cast Kane Hodder was because they wanted to match his size with Freddy.
No, they actually wanted Kane Hodder because it was going to be iconic. They thought the iconic looks. It's just Kane Hodder, judging from what I heard, Kane Hodder asked more. He thought he should be... Alright, the controversy goes, I'm hearing, is... Alright, Robert Englund, we already know, earns the guy's Freddy. He's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So, the director ended up had to pay Robert Englund big bucks, because Robert Englund knows, hey, this is my role, and you can't get nobody to play that role.
Yeah.
So, you either get me or this movie doesn't happen. That is true. That is true. If you don't have Robert Englund as Freddy and a Freddy vs. Jason, you know this movie ain't gonna happen. Kane Hodder, knowing that his role as Jason, he doesn't speak, so the director goes, well, I can just replace you, man. He goes, you want a lot of money? I ain't paying you that. Robert Englund has to actually talk in this film. You just have to walk around slashing people. Kane Hodder said, you match our fucking prices or I'm out of here. Director said, no go. I ain't matching your prices, no.
Damn.
Yep. So, he goes, I ain't gonna match your prices. Kane Hodder said, nope. Kane Hodder said, I'm not doing the film.
Well, that sucks.
He, unfortunately, he thought he should earn what Freddy did. I would have said, if I was, I'm sorry, I'm a Kane Hodder fan, I would have been, dude, the iconic of iconic, I would have said yes. But, unfortunately, Juan didn't say no. He said, nope. No deal.
Well, I could have.
So we got a new guy that played him. Some guy, guy from Part 8. You were saying, yep. So we get this. So the whole story is basically Jason. The more he kills in Springwood, the more people think it's Freddy doing it.
Yeah.
So people believe in Freddy. People start getting fear. Freddy starts regenerating his powers. So that's where Freddy comes in. So we get fight scenes, great fight scenes with him and him and Jason.
Yeah, especially that part. I love the part where. Well, there's two of my favorite parts. My favorite part is the part where he takes Freddy's head and starts smashing his head all through all those boards in that cabin. Where he's going,
Oh, that's the last scene.
But
now the first scene was pretty cool. You take us to our iconic boiler room from the previous.
That's what I was going to get to. I was going to say I like that
the first fight.
Yeah, the part where he slices his arm off and he's fucking with him and he's like, not my arm!
Yeah.
And then he slices off and he's like, I got it back,
so,
motherfucker.
This one, they actually did a lot of comedy with Freddy. Robert Englund, instead of being the dark from the first one, or wanting to go back to darkness, he actually wanted to continue on his comedy.
Not really. They do kind of change that in one part where the main girl is dreaming, and you see a demon-looking fucking Freddy in one part.
Oh, you're talking about the one where he pops out of Crystal Lake.
Yeah, that was fucking
So
creepy.
supposedly we get this, and he is pretty cool looking in that scene. The thing is, with this film, we get the scene where he actually drowned Jason. So we do get what we've been asking, and I would rather actually be in a Friday 13th reboot. I'll get to that later. We actually get this in Freddy vs. Jason. We actually get a guy that actually plays a kid Jason where he drowns him. And it's Freddy going, dumps him. Yeah, and then as Jason's trying to get his last breath before he drowns, and then fucking Freddy comes up and drowns him. And then you get like that. It's fun. This movie is more of a popcorn flick for me. I enjoyed the popcorn. Now, there's some other parts, like, I love some of the deaths. I do agree with you. Freddy only getting one kill.
That was a little underwhelming.
Jason was killing everybody, and Jason gets out the victory.
Like, the only kind of scene I can see that Freddy almost got, but because Jason killed him, it kind of ruined it, was the stoner guy, who kind of looks like Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
Uh-huh.
Like,
and they had some comedy actors, like that dude from...
White Chicks.
White Chicks is in that.
Yeah,
he's over his comedy.
He's playing the cop.
Cop, yeah.
Yeah.
You got the cop, and which was they did a thing. The cop actually references that. All right, he just got transferred from another station. He got transferred from Crystal Lake.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's the reason why he goes, I'm a cop from Crystal Lake. This is what we used to have, Jason. And these people are already, well, I'm from Springwood, and we have a killer named Freddy. I have this problem right here. You tell me Freddy and Jason live right by each other? This whole distance continuity bothered me. So we got Jason in New Jersey, right? Springwood's in Ohio. I'm sorry, I've traveled that. That fucking distance is 900 miles. 700 miles, I think it is, or 8. No, I'm going to be 650. 650 at best. On a slow day. Tell me how they made it in a few hours over there from...
Where Jason's walking and all of a sudden he shows up in Springwood.
Well, no, they drive. When they drove Jason's body, to thinking that, okay, we have to send... The continuity was, okay, Freddy will only be defeated in Jason's world. So you get the humans kind of teaming up with Jason.
Yeah.
But they know that their best bet is to eliminate Freddy and not keep Jason.
Yeah, because actually what I do like about this though, about this whole...
But didn't that continuity with the distance kind of bother you? Because they got there so quick.
But I didn't realize that until after I watched it, because when I first watched it...
Springwood already acknowledged that they're from Ohio.
Yeah, they do.
And New Jersey. That's a big distance. That's like me making a movie about Arkansas and then saying, oh, we must get to L.A., and then I got there in the same fucking night. Yeah. I drove the distance, you ain't making it there in that same night. So, that distance, if you were really into digging, that bothers you. I enjoyed this movie more of a popcorn fun.
Yeah, but as far as the continuity, besides that, I still like the continuity.
Yeah, the continuity was not all bad. It was a lot better than Jason X and continuity. A whole lot better on Jason X. On the continuity, it was better than 8. It was better than fucking 9 on continuity. So, I had fun with this film. I actually, believe it or not, this is what I'm going to go into detail with. So, when I watched this film in 2003, I went and seen it on opening night. I actually walked out impressed with this film. I fucking loved it and had fun. I actually went and watched this recently. I still like it, but I actually caught a lot of bloopers in this fucking movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a part where that fat guy is running, and that's where the part where Jason throws that fucking machete to his chest. The dude is... and you remember when he does that, the dude... blood comes out of the dude's mouth? The dude's running so... You can tell he has the blood already in his fucking mouth. He's making the noise. I'm like, dude, you have it in your mouth. I already see the blood.
Oh, yeah, I remember that part.
So that was a blooper. There's some bloopers in this fucking film. There was a lot of bloopers. I'm like,
yeah.
I actually did see a cameraman in the hospital. I seen him through the mirror. So this movie did have a lot of continuity, and some of the deaths hold up, but I did see a lot of CGI that I didn't care for.
Some of the parts...
That dude's head that got twisted was so CGI. That was fun. That was just a retarded death. Remember that dude's like, you aren't a fight, and the dude's head just twists, and it's so CGI.
Yeah, I see that.
I was like, no, that was a bad CGI.
Yeah, I remember that.
I love the film. I still like it. I do love it as a popcorn film. Like I said, if you would have talked to me, if I did a review in 2003, I would have told you how much I love this film. Growing up, now seeing this film, I do see a lot of flaws, but it's still not a bad film. It's still
I agree.
Fun.
It's still fun.
It's still fun.
It still captures a Friday 13th in... For what they did, okay, I agree. They could have had a better script involved with the crossover, but for what they did, it's still a good follow-up.
So you get Jason walking out of the water, and he's got Freddy's head and Freddy winks, so nobody really won. I guess you could say Jason won, because he's got all his body versus Freddy, but nobody really won. Now, get this. This is where I did my investigation. This has actually had two other endings that was supposed to happen. We were actually supposed to get one where Hellraiser was like,
what's the problem?
What seems to be the problem? And they were actually both dead and they were in hell.
And then you say,
and then there was one where Jason walked out of the water with Freddy's head. Instead of winking, it's Freddy saying something to him like, "Release me" or some shit. And then Jason stops, and he's doing that, and then Michael Myers was in the woods going.
That would have been cool.
And that was going because they first wanted to do a Michael Myers versus Freddy versus Jason. That was going to be a sequel. They couldn't get the rights. Then they did the Hellraiser where they were going to do Freddy versus Jason versus Hellraiser. And then there was another one, instead of Michael Myers in the woods going like that, they did that scene again where he came out and it was fucking Ash with his chainsaw. Groovy. And he was going to do that, and it was going to go, he was going to go zzz, and it was going to end like that.
That would have been
That
cool.
was going to lead us to versus Ash. All three movies fell apart, and they cannot do another movie.
Well, that sucks.
So, Freddy vs. Jason is all we're going to get.
Yeah, but overall, I give the movie I'm going to give it probably, I'm going to be generous, probably a 7.5 out of 10. It has some flaws here and there, but it's still a good popcorn flick. It's still a good crossover. Yeah. I can honestly say right now, it's one of the best slasher or horror movie crossovers we've ever had.
Yeah. I'm going to go 7 out of 10 on this film. I will say in 2003, I probably would have been like, oh my god, it was a 9 out of 10, you know. I was a kid, I enjoyed it, I had fun with my dad, it was awesome. But now as a, grown up and I'm reviewing it, and I'm more into like studying films and everything, it's a 7 out of 10 for me.
Alright, well now, before we get into our next movie, there's a little background we have for our first stuff. Okay. So there were a lot of scripts we had involved before we got to the next movie. We had other scripts involved, including Michael versus Pinhead, where you had Michael going up against Michael Myers, and you also had other scripts like
Michael going against Michael Myers.
I'm sorry, Jason going against Michael Myers. And,
I established the whole.
Yeah. Well, and you also had other scripts too involved, like for example, they had Jason. It was going to be called Jason in Los Angeles, where it was going to be about
Jason takes
Little
do we know, we didn't need that. We knew how New York failed.
Well, the concept they had for that one was they had Jason literally in a military, or I'm sorry, it was a prison bus.
So we were to assume that he gets in a car like H2O and fucking drive to California.
No, he was actually being transported from a prison group.
Was he going to go San Quentin?
San Quentin or something like that.
Was he going to go meet up with fucking American History X dude?
Yeah, they were going to have that concept, and then
I'm glad I didn't do that.
They had another one involved where Jason, it was going to be Jason X2, where they were going to follow up from Jason X, but they never came to fruition. Yeah. So now we get to the 2009
remake. So basically, standalone Jason films end at 10 at Jason X. I guess I can give it points because on X on that it is the final film, and then you get the Jason vs. Freddy as a standalone for fun film. So now we're starting to get reboots now. We're now in the year, we are back, now we're way ahead, we're in 2009, we're in reboot heaven right now.
Yeah.
Now, little backstory of this. I'm going to say this right now, and you know me on this. I'm going to go into detail on this one before we start this review. Out of Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Leatherface, Chucky, Saw, and Leprechaun, out of like slasher franchises, my buddy knows I am a Jason fanatic. Jason is my ultimate favorite. I don't know what it is. I grew up in summer camps. I'm addicted to Jason. I'm not going to say my grade right now on Jason 2009 reboot. I'm going to go in detail. We're going to talk about it, and I'll give you my grade. I'm going to tell you right now, out of all of them, I'm going to tell you out of all what I named, Michael Myers is like my third place or fourth place. So there's no favoritism here on my part. Jason's reboot, to me, I'm going to go dig why I say this, was my very disappointing one. Believe it or not, my least out of the 4 famous slashers, Leatherface, Jason, Freddy, and Michael Myers, Rob Zombie's Halloween was probably my favorite reboot. out of all the 4 slashers. He was. It'd be Rob Zombie's Halloween's reboot. Then second place would be Texas Chainsaw's reboot. Third place will be, I'll say, Friday the 13th, then Nightmare on Elm Street. Because I did do a study, and Nightmare on Elm Street's characters were just, I didn't like anybody that played in that film. I do gotta say that some of the films, some people was likable in Friday the 13th. So, it was my third place, third best. But, so going into 2009, we get the reboot. Unfortunately, this was sold to Platinum Dunes. They took over Michael Bay's production agency. He gets Brad, the guy who did Hitcher, and all them films that were pretty fucking shitty reboots. So now we get the Michael Bay's. This is where Michael Bay's getting control of pretty much all our slashers, and he's rebooting them all. So we get into 2009, and so we get the history of, this movie was basically a part 1, 2, 3, and 4.
4 combined.
It was combined into one film. So I was looking forward to this film a lot, and I went and seen this on opening night.
I did too. Me and my brother went and seen it.
I seen it on Friday at 9 o'clock.
I was there because
we had a loud crowd.
You might have been in the same theater.
I was in second row.
Me and my brother were in the very first row.
I was in the second row in the middle.
Yeah, me and my brother might have been seen you probably there.
It's funny because if you would have seen a little dude like me walking in with a big fat tall dude, I was with him.
I've probably seen you there.
Yeah, so I went on opening night on Friday, and the reason why we did this because it was kind of like right after my birthday, so it was like a gift. We went and seen this, and it was pretty rowdy crowd. I was really pissed off because this is one of the few films I went and seen in theaters that actually they had a lot of people fucking yelling and talking and screaming and jumping around.
It was horrible.
People were fucking on their phones. This was a really horrible fucking experience as far as going to see a movie. Not the movie, I'm just saying crowd-wise. These people were just fucking, oh my god, there were so many noisy people. It was pissing me off.
Yeah.
So anyways, we get it in 2009.
So now we have it to where the movie is trying to... It sets up where you have... It starts out with Pamela Voorhees from the original movie. Yep. Same situation where she's about to get killed by the main girl, which I'm kind of wondering, like, okay, that's kind of weird how you have this girl that kills her fucking mom.
They
don't even use her throughout the movie.
No, what it is the credits are giving us the history. That is fucking poorly written and rushed.
It is.
In my opinion, that pissed me fuck off. That we got the history in the fucking credit scenes. And the whole decapitation, Jason's little kid, we get all that rushed in the fucking scene, man. They were supposed to... The original writing was supposed to give us the fucking history of Jason starting as a kid. It was going to be like Halloween. I was looking forward to seeing something like that. This movie just fucking went into Jason.
Yeah.
It went into fucking Jason.
It did. It starts out, basically a quick setup where Pamela Voorhees gets killed and decapitated, and then we see that Jason, well, if you watch the longer version...
I've seen it.
Where
the kid
Jason
picks up
is watching...
He's watching his mom die, and then he picks up the head and walks off. It's okay, but... It still ain't doable for me, man. I was looking for a really well dark origins.
Yeah.
And this movie just felt like a fucking... It to me, I'm sorry, it was just another slasher, Jason. This could have been Jason Part 11.
Yeah, so we get set up where these new characters come in, and they're picked off one by one by Jason. Which, I will be honest... Some of the kills in the beginning were good. Like, I love
I like the loudness of where Jason ran and he got the guy in the skull.
Well, and also you got the
girl screaming.
The sleeping bag scene where she's over the fire. I like that death.
And then I like how he's stabbing that dude through the arms and through his feet and all that. I do like that. This movie's like a 50-50 with me. So, we get to, and this is one of the few horror genres or any movie genre, of any type movie, we actually get the opening Friday the 13th, the title.
After 20 minutes. I was like, fuck, that's a long time to introduce the title.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. I watched it there, it's like, damn, man, you really think that's fucking long to do a title?
Yeah. So we get into now the main cast.
which is played by.
That's the thing. They kill 5 people in the credits. They go to 5 people in the first 20 minutes, and then they go to the main. That's my problem. I thought they rushed. They're rushing too fast.
Well, that and it's the same setup. You have 5 people getting killed at the beginning, and then you have the next group of characters, which... Oh, I gotta talk about this.
They're really pointless.
This right there, I'm gonna bitch about. Okay, for all my faults I had with some of the original characters from the original movies, I can at least buy that they would be in that kind of setting. You know, it's the kind of slasher setting. These fucking characters they have in this one
are the most... You talking about the first
No. The next ones.
The mainstream. The main group. Alright, this is the most cop-out fucking... controversial, diverse people. You get the whore, you get the blonde, you get the black, you get the fucking Asian. This is just like really just a standout, like, okay, your typical Hitcher.
Well, not that. I know they're supposed to be stereotypical, but they're fucking douchebags.
I didn't like anybody.
They were so unlikable that I'm like, oh man, these guys are so painful.
The only people I gotta say I did like was the main guy looking for a sister,
Jared Padalecki.
Yeah.
You may remember from Supernatural.
Yeah, and the girl that got stabbed through the chest was all right.
And I like the main girl.
And then the sister.
Yeah,
but the fucking other people, the black dude, man, all them man were just all it was to me was it was avoiding getting pissed off, like the black community coming in and say, why was there not a black man in the film? Or an Asian community, why is there not an Asian film in the film? I think they only did that so they don't get chewed out for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and these people were not even good actors anyways, they're playing those roles. The black dude was horrible, the fucking Asian dude was annoying as fuck, the fucking Travis Van Winkle was fucking stupid.
Which is funny
from Transformers.
Which is funny because
he's used in every goddamn fucking Michael Bay film.
Yeah, because Michael Bay, it's almost like he used that same character from Friday the 13th. So it's almost like he used the same character.
That dude, Travis Van Winkle, he can't play any other role. That dude is only good for that fucking role. That's all he can fucking play.
He's always playing a jackass.
Yeah, and he's not even the main cast, so why you keep putting him in? You know who else is in all the fucking Michael Bay's film? That fucking redneck. That dude was like, oh yeah? I'll fuck your shit up. That dude's in Hitcher. I do like him in Friday the 13th. He did give me a comedy relief. Though, that dude's in Hitcher and every other Michael Bay film.
Yeah, I remember that. But, anyway, yeah, this film, I can say... like...
But it did your standard Jason, blah, 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 blah. He killed everybody.
My biggest problem with the film...
And verbatim from each film. You got the guy looking for his sister, part 4. You get the barn, part 3. You get fucking the mask part at the beginning, the first 20 minutes before the credits, part 2 with the mask, and then you get the mom, part 1.
It's all the movies combined.
It's basically you took 1, 2, 3, 4, took out key scenes and just put them together.
Yeah, and okay, I will say this.
I love this part. This is all right. This is my pros of this film. Here's some pros. I'm going to get to my pros. I actually was really interested in seeing a Rambo Jason.
Yeah, where he's actually trying to hide in the shadows.
We didn't have to jump into a fucking monster Jason. I did like that, how he's living off the land.
Where he's a hermit, where he's actually trying to, like, hide out. And
he's built tunnels.
Yeah.
He eats animals. He's built booby traps. I love that fucking shit.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And I will say another pro I have in this film, I am sucker for this. I love its score.
I did
too. Scores,
especially at the beginning where you had the main demon. Yeah. Well, and I like Derek Myers as Jason.
Derek Myers was an awesome Jason. Jason. I loved him a lot. If you can do it right, Jason, I would hire him back.
He was good because
and the look of Jason was pretty cool.
And he brought back the running Jason we had in the earlier movies.
That's another thing I give it a pro. Nothing scares me more than a running Jason.
Where he's like fucking like on a marathon and shit.
That was awesome. The overall plot was just, it was plain. It was so bland. It was just a standard.
The only kills that I liked in the film was...
I don't care what anybody says. Rob Zombie's Halloween was a hell of a written fucking story. This is just fucking bland bullshit. You fuckers out there that bitch about Rob Zombie, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're the fucking cause of the reason why Nightmare on Elm Street's remake and this fucking remake was just so bland and bullshit. Because you bitch, we didn't need to know verbatim, it wasn't, No. Dude, I was wanting to see a very dark, they originally had that, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay. My things that I could say really pissed me off was that, okay, we're to assume that this is supposed to be a fresh
Even though it's
start.
a bloody movie, it really was not a gory movie.
I thought it was.
It was not gory, it was bloody. It was not gory. There's a difference.
No, I can defend this, though, and maybe I'm just a sucker for it. I can at least say this one did up the nudity a lot more than, say, the older films.
But they did say some very perky shit, like that dude goes, well, the dude's fucking the girl, he goes, you know what? You have cool nipple placements.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I was like, oh, man. Usually, that was Travis Van Winkle that said that. I'm like, dude, you're a bad fucking actor, dude. You can't fucking act with the fuck, dude.
I do like his death, though, when the dude...
Oh, now that was cool when they brought the guy from Texas Chainsaw on that.
Yeah.
Where he's picking him up.
And he puts him on
Jason's
antlers.
sitting there. He saw him like that, and then he throws him in that fucking antler thing. That was an awesome death.
That was good. I also like the death where the girl is like below the deck, and then fucking Jason takes his machete and stabs her head. The dock, sorry. Yeah. Where she's under the dock, and he takes that fucking machete and goes...
That's the reason why I like Rambo Jason. That's the reason why I praised it for this Rambo Jason. Because he shoots arrows now.
Yeah, where he hits that one dude when he's on the boat.
He's like, ow, ow! And then... He's like... And it was silent, too. He's like...
That was a good death. Yeah. And you also had...
But that... I thought that... I guess some of the deaths can be praised. It's just the characters were not fun.
No,
man.
the only other than the brother and the sister and probably the Jason and the guy who played Jason, everyone else sucked.
And then, well, they do something different. They didn't copy off part 2. I did like instead of like the girl, he actually had her chained up. The one that wants to be the mother.
Yeah, that was good.
He kept her as like as a mother thing, like.
Yeah, that was good. You know, but. That's what I'm saying. Like, the movie just... I didn't hate it, but overall,
I didn't say I hate it. I was highly disappointed.
Yeah, I'm going to give it probably like a 5 out of 10. It's got its moments, but it's just not enough to make for the bland, mediocre shit we see in the other movies.
I'm going to agree with him. I'm going 5 out of 10 in this film. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys get a chance, definitely...
I am a sucker for a score. It's got a menacing score. In fact, and we're supposed to get a reboot next year, and I'm glad they're going to reboot it, because it needs to be redone. Michael Bay needs to stop with our fucking reboots. Well, he is a horrible rebooter.
Well, from
his
what
productions...
I've been hearing different things, because the next one they're working on is supposedly they're getting Platinum Dunes back for the next one, but I don't know if that's the case. If it is, hopefully they'll make up for it.
I mean, if Platinum Dunes has control of it, why don't you just do a sequel to it then?
That's probably what they're doing. We just don't know about it.
I heard it was a reboot, and I don't see nothing Platinum Dunes on it or anything.
Okay, well, as far as Jason-related material, me and him are really looking for the video game coming out later this year.
I can't wait to that video game. Oh my god. This is going to open up Slasher. This is my most anticipated game of the year. I am so looking forward to this fucking thing.
Me too.
It looks amazing. We just got Tommy Jarvis the other fucking day.
Yeah, the game pretty much did a Kickstarter campaign where for how many goals they reached, they would be able to add more material. And so far, they've reached their goal. But now, my only concern is that
no first player.
Single player. I hope they add. If they don't add it, I will still get the game.
Yeah.
But I am going to miss out if they don't add a single player.
Well, I'm going to tell you, they're going to have to do the single player because, judging by the comments, there's going to be a lot of people that's not going to fucking buy it if it's not going to be single player. So I think they will get the single player because they're going to lose a lot of people if they don't. Because most comments said, get single player, that's your next goal. Yeah. If you don't do it, then I ain't buying it.
Well, which they're absolutely trying to do. It's just they're trying to get as much backers as they can right now.
But we just recently got... Now, what we did have... We originally only had 3 kills from Tom Savini. Now, according to what I read the other day, we just got 3 new kills. So now we got 6 Tom Savini kills.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the game a lot.
Correct me, I said it earlier. I gotta correct myself. Get out there and vote, because if we can get 50, add some money to this, because if we get 50,000, I forgot. If we get 50,000, we get Tommy Jarvis in this film.
I'm looking forward to that because I want to see Tommy Jarvis.
They will make Tommy Jarvis, and they will actually write a storyline.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And also, supposedly, what they're doing with the next film coming out, going back to the next movie they're doing, supposedly we're getting the origin story involving Elias Voorhees, which I am looking forward to.
If we can that's the reason why it's a reboot, because they wouldn't just build so much storyline on a sequel. The first one failed miserably. It is not liked. I gave it a 5 out of 10, but majority of people gave it a lot lower than that. It only has like a 13% rating overall. It's a horrible movie, and it's not that bad, but it's still bad.
Yeah.
It's a disappointment more than anything. And another thing, and I'm actually looking forward to this, I don't care about what anybody says. I actually would like to see a Friday 13th in the snow.
That's what they wanted to do originally. They wanted to
But I think that's already fell out of the concept.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off because, you know what? I would love to see a Jason in the snow.
That's the one thing
Winter.
we forgot.
In a cabin.
Do like Christmas.
Snow, Christmas. Jason blending in with his white mask and that. Well, that's actually pretty...
That would be pretty cool.
I would love to see that. But unfortunately, we ain't got much detail on that one. But we hope you like our retrospecting.
Yeah, if you like what you see here, you can also check out our first retrospective we did with Halloween.
And our next one's going to be Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Yes, and so if you guys get a chance, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud.
Look up Film Freaks.
And Film Freaks, and we'll be catching up with more reviews here soon. So we hope you guys enjoyed our retrospective, and we'll see you guys later.
Later.